There is a storm on record that dropped so much rain in 1 minute that scientists thought their instruments were broken. They checked twice and the reading held. Elsewhere, a wall of dust rose, so high it swallowed an entire city in darkness at midday. Cars pulled over, streetlights flickered on, and people ran for cover as day turned into night. These are real weather events, captured on video and logged in official records. By the time we reach number 1, you will see the single deadliest weather disaster in modern history. Weather is usually just background noise, something you check before leaving the house. But sometimes the atmosphere turns violent in ways that seem impossible. Hailstones the size of softballs. Winds that flatten cities in seconds. Lightning storms that never stop. Here are 10 of the most extreme weather events ever recorded on Earth. 10. The Black Sunday Dust Storm, 1935. In the American Great Plains, farmers watched the sky turn an unnatural shade of brown. Within minutes, a towering black wall rolled toward them. This was Black Sunday, the worst dust storm of the Dust Bowl era. Winds carried 300 million tons of topsoil into the air, blotting out the sun. People stuffed wet towels under doors and still choked on dust inside their homes. Cars stalled, birds dropped from the sky, and static electricity crackled through the clouds. Visibility dropped to near zero across multiple states. 9. The Great Blizzard of 1888, United States. New York City woke to a light snow that seemed harmless. By afternoon, the city was buried under drifts taller than houses. The Great Blizzard of 1888 dropped over a meter of snow in some areas. Winds gusted so hard that trains derailed and telegraph poles snapped like twigs. People froze in the streets just blocks from their homes. The city shut down for days, prompting officials to eventually bury power lines underground. 8. The 2011 Joplin tornado, United States. On a humid May evening, sirens wailed across Joplin, Missouri. A massive wedge tornado touched down and began shredding the city. The storm was rated EF5, the highest category on the scale. Winds exceeded 320 kilometers per hour, turning cars into missiles and leveling entire neighborhoods. When the clouds cleared, a 6-mile path of destruction cut through the heart of the city. It remains one of the deadliest tornadoes in American history. The tornado was over 1 mile wide at its peak. 7. The European heatwave of 2003. Across Europe, temperatures climbed to levels no one had prepared for. Cities built for mild summers turned into ovens. Air conditioning was rare, hospitals overflowed, and morgues ran out of space. Rivers dropped so low that ships could not pass, and nuclear plants had to reduce power. In France alone, tens of thousands of people died, many of them elderly and alone. It became one of the deadliest natural disasters in European history. France was hardest hit, with about 15,000 fatalities. Sparked major reforms in heat emergency planning. 6. The Tri-State Tornado of 1925. Before storm tracking and modern radar, a monster formed over Missouri. It touched down and kept moving, carving a continuous path for over 3 hours. The Tri-State Tornado traveled nearly 220 miles across Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Entire towns were erased from the map, with some communities losing most of their population. It remains the deadliest single tornado in recorded United States history. Survivors described a roar like 1,000 freight trains shaking the earth. Killed 695 people and injured over 2,000. Some towns lost over 90% of their buildings. But the next storms brought lightning that never stopped, hailstones that killed, and a cyclone that drowned an entire nation.
5. The Catatumbo lightning. Venezuela. Over a remote Venezuelan lake, the sky flickers almost every night of the year. Lightning bolts crack across the clouds for hours, sometimes without a single drop of rain. This is the Catatumbo lightning, the most active lightning hotspot on Earth. Some nights, hundreds of strikes light up the darkness in a constant electric storm. Scientists believe warm Caribbean winds collide with cold mountain air, creating endless spark conditions. Locals have lived with this glowing horizon for centuries, treating it as part of the landscape. Occurs at the mouth of the Catatumbo River. Storms can produce over 20 flashes per minute, visible from hundreds of kilometers away. 4. The Great Hailstorm of Bangladesh, 1986. In a rural region of Bangladesh, clouds darkened and the temperature dropped. Then the sky began to fall. Hailstones the size of grapefruits smashed through roofs and crushed livestock. People who could not find shelter were struck down in the open. In minutes, entire villages were battered, and over 90 people lost their lives. It remains the deadliest hailstorm ever recorded. Occurred on April 14, 1986 in Gopalganj district, destroyed crops and homes across the region. Many victims were working in open fields. Holds the record for the most hail-related deaths in a single event. 3. Typhoon Tip, 1979. Out in the western Pacific, a storm grew into something meteorologists had never measured before. Typhoon Tip became the largest and most intense tropical cyclone ever recorded. Its cloud system stretched over 2,000 kilometers, covering an area larger than half the United States. Central pressure dropped to the lowest ever measured in a tropical storm. The typhoon weakened before making full landfall, but still caused deadly flooding and landslides in Japan. To this day, no storm has matched its sheer size. Cloud diameter covered a massive portion of the Pacific. 2. The 1970 Bola cyclone, Bangladesh. Late at night, a powerful cyclone roared across the Bay of Bengal. Waves surged over the flat, crowded delta, swallowing villages whole. The Bola cyclone struck during high tide, amplifying the storm surge into a wall of water. Entire islands disappeared beneath the waves, leaving no trace of the communities that had lived there. Estimates suggest between 300,000 and 500,000 people died, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. Relief efforts were slow, and the tragedy reshaped the political future of the region. Storm surge reached over 10 meters in some areas. Most victims drowned in the flooding overnight. 1. The 1931 China floods. Heavy rains fell across central China for months without stopping. Rivers swelled beyond any recorded level, then burst through dikes and levees. The Yangtze, Yellow, and Wye rivers flooded simultaneously, covering an area the size of England. Cities, towns, and farmland vanished under brown water. Disease and famine followed the initial drowning. Conservative estimates put the death toll between 1 and 4 million people, making it the deadliest natural disaster in modern history. Affected tens of millions of people across multiple provinces. Entire harvests were destroyed, triggering mass starvation. Remains the deadliest recorded flood event in human history. You have just witnessed 10 of the most extreme weather events ever recorded. From dust storms that buried cities to cyclones that erased entire populations overnight. Lightning that never stops, hail that kills, and floods that swallowed a nation, all of them real, all of them documented. At the top of the list, the 1931 China floods remind us that when multiple rivers fail at once, entire regions can disappear beneath the water in days. Which of these weather events shocked you the most? Would you want to witness the Catatumbo lightning safely from a distance? Do you think modern warning systems could have saved more lives in the Bola cyclone? What other extreme weather stories should we explore next? If this journey through Earth's wildest storms amazed you, tap like and subscribe so you never miss the next video. Soon, we will dive into the strangest natural disasters that science still struggles to fully explain.